Recreational goods? Oh, they don't have meth? Huh. Hey, I have a joke that I heard the other day that I definitely need to tell you guys. But before I do that, if you're one of the 13 to 15-year-olds who watches my videos, because apparently that's a thing, cover your ears right now. Okay, unexpected sex in the morning is a great way to be woken up, if you're not in a prison. Now that that's over, I've got some pretty big news to tell you guys. Apparently, I'm somewhat of an official YouTuber now.
Bloody frickin' dog!
Not quite sure how this happened, but because of it, Creative Mobile was kind enough to send me a game key to play the Quest exclusive version of Into the Radius. So, in this video, I'm going to show you guys what this Quest 2 port looks like. I'm going to compare it against the good old-fashioned PCVR version of Into the Radius. And finally, I'm going to tell you guys whether or not I really think it's worth buying. Anyways, enough of me talking, alright? Let's jump into the video. Enjoy! Let's start off with the most notable change when comparing the PCVR version of Into the Radius to this Quest 2 port. And it is a pretty obvious one. Graphics. Almost all locations in the game now have fewer 3D props. The Radius itself is much less populated with trees and foliage. There are less particles floating around in the air. There is no longer a dust visual effect when you open drawers or cabinets. Overall, 3D meshes have less dense geometry. Texture resolutions have been lowered. Shadows and lighting do not look quite as good. And lastly, there's no support for full body IK. But on the bright side, there does seem to be adaptive resolution, so your hands, the objects that you hold, and basically any 3D asset that you are in close proximity to will be scaled up to a much higher quality 3D mesh. And I just have to say, I was pretty damn surprised by the level of quality that these meshes were able to be scaled to. I straight up stared at my hands and a pistol for like 15 minutes just trying to decide whether they looked the exact same as the PCVR version or not. Ultimately, I really couldn't tell the difference. What do we have here? You think you're better than me? Huh? I scored a 69 on the SATs. Never been seen before, never been done.
What you just said is one of the most idiotic things I have ever heard.
God have mercy on your soul.
You and I are nothing alike. I have an IQ of 420. I cracked myself up playing these games, dude. This is why I like VR so much. I can just f***ing run around, cracking jokes, having a good old time, just making myself absolutely piss. This is why I love VR. This is why I started making these YouTube videos. The fact that there is such a big difference in graphics when we compare the PCVR version of Into the Radius to its Quest 2 port really isn't that shocking, because after all, your Quest 2 doesn't even come close to the processing power of a PC.
No shit.
And I'm sure a lot of you guys are well aware of that. But you're probably still sitting there wondering, well, if the graphics took such a big hit, how does the gameplay match up compared to PCVR? I have an answer to that question, which might actually come as a surprise to you. Besides the fact that the animations and graphics for enemies and anomalies are better optimized now, which generally makes them feel less exciting, a bit slower, and lower quality obviously, the difference in gameplay is fractional at best. And I would even go as far to say that the Quest 2 version of Into the Radius feels a lot smoother and has less visual hiccups in terms of frame stuttering and lagging when compared to the PCVR version. Now this is by no means a matter of fact, it is just my experience. Other than the gameplay, one more difference I think has relevance is the audio. I have no clue whether or not this is true, but I feel like the audio in the PCVR version of Into the Radius sounds much more ambient and crisp when compared to the Quest 2 port. How many beers you been drinking tonight there, bud, huh? Are you high right now, huh, son?
You're crazy, man.
How many fingers am I holding up? It's funny because I'm flipping them off in real life. Do the snozberries taste like snozberries?
Please no.
I'm asking for a friend. Have you ever met a girl that you tried to date? But a year to make love, she wanted you to wait. Let me tell you a story of my situation. I was talking to this girl from the US nation. Holy shit. What's one thing about this game that hasn't changed at all? Thankfully, it's the story. The story in this game hasn't been changed one bit. So, if you were worried at all about that, you can rest at ease. The Quest 2 native version of Into the Radius is identical in terms of storyline and missions to the PCVR version. Not only that, I have a saving grace for you guys. If you buy Into the Radius through the Oculus store, you get a free copy of the PCVR version of Into the Radius, because this game is in fact cross-buy. However, if you already own the PCVR version of Into the Radius through Steam, then I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, although you probably already know this, but you don't get a copy of the Oculus native version for free. And one more thing, I've been getting really into modding the PCVR version of Into the Radius lately, so you might be wondering if the Quest 2 port allows for any modding. I don't think that there's been any official announcements on this, but considering Oculus is a closed platform created by Facebook, I highly doubt that you will be able to. Now, I honestly don't even remember what the fuck I was supposed to be doing right now.
Marijuana is a memory loss drug. Now, exactly how much pot did you smoke?
Total Recall. Oh, have you seen that movie, boys? It's fucking Arnold, so if you haven't seen that movie, like, fucking figure it out. God, that movie is so badass. And dude, his wife, that's a spy. What a fucking smoke show, am I right? Oh my god. I'm so glad that I don't stream, dude. I am literally like ADHD on crack when I play VR games. I love this game so much. I'm beyond happy that I decided to pick this game as the one that I make most of my videos on. So, is the Quest 2 port of Into the Radius worth buying? Well, if you have more than one brain cell, you could probably assume based off what I just said that it is most definitely worth it. After all, it is basically a buy one get one free deal. So there really isn't much to decide on. The only reasons I can think of that you shouldn't buy the native Quest version of this game is if you 1, aren't really interested in this type of game, or 2, you already own the PCVR version through Steam. In which case, you honestly could buy the Quest 2 version if you really want to be able to play it natively on the Quest, but honestly, I don't think it would be worth it because of the massive difference in graphics. There is definitely a ladder in front of me, and I'm climbing it. If you guys do not remember, or if you're new to the channel, my obsession with VR ladders is basically rooted in the fact that I was surprised that something so simple in real life could be this enjoyable in VR. Oh my god, I absolutely shit on this dude just now. Anyways, back to what I was saying. VR ladders are like the cream of the crop when it comes to VR gameplay mechanics. You just never would have thunk, alright? I was so surprised at how much fun I have climbing ladders in VR. And the first place that I realized that passion for ladder climbing was in this game, Into the Radius. I'll lay off talking about the ladders, alright? Glorifying ladders. I just wanted to go ahead and let you guys know. Give a little explanation of why I always talk about ladders in VR games. I will make this one quick. Thank you for watching the video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Maybe you learned something new. Maybe you've never heard of Into the Radius and now you're tempted to buy it on the Quest 2. I would highly recommend. Alright, have yourself an amazing weekend and I will see you guys next week for another video. Bye!